All right, good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome into NFT Live, a Monday edition. Welcome to a new week in the year of our Lord 2023. We're bringing you the Web3 and NFT news from around the industry. I'm sitting here with some dope homies here. Gift Ed's trying out a new mic, so we're gonna try that live on air. We'll see how that goes. Biggie Poppins is sitting there getting ready to tell us about something. I saw a new mint come through on your Twitter profile, Biggie. I wanna talk about that. You buy something?
Yeah, dude, my morning's been fucking crazy, dude. It started off fantastic. Fucking got allowed listed for uh Pindar Van Armen's ByteGans, which is like from the Braindrops AI art platform. I'm super psyched. I got a green one, which is like my favorite color. So very happy about that. And then like I'm not kidding you, dude. Like I was reading like we just got an update on Proof, and Proof of Conference is canceled.
Ju-
Yeah,
Wait, just now?
just now. Breaking. Breaking, bitches. Yeah. Uh that's crypto for you, dude.
You need to
Like
leave the show right now,
literally,
Biggie.
like you have like the highest highs and the lowest lows within 5 minutes of each other. Hey man, fucking that's what we signed up for. So what can I say? I don't know. I'm in a way like bummed, not but I don't know. I was bummed because I was gonna miss it. I'm bummed because it's not even happening. I don't know what to fucking make of it, dude. It's insane.
I'm
You're
trying to look for
muted,
an
Gift.
announcement here. Are you
No,
muted?
it's like
Oh,
Discord,
sorry.
dude. They're I'm sure they'll announce it. Obviously, like refunds and this and that, blah blah blah. Everything will be peachy for whoever bought tickets and plane tickets and hotel tickets and all that shit. But in the end, man, it's a bummer, dude. It's a bummer. I
I'm not even
can't.
part of Proof, and I'm bummed out because this is one of the conferences of this year that I was excited about as I'm more focused on these, more targeted niche, what I think are usually better organized conferences that have an angle. Because I think again, you get more value from the networking and what's happening there. So this was one of the three conferences that I was actually excited about right now. So I'm bummed out.
I am, I don't know like what to make of it. Obviously, just broke. So I'll eventually wrap my head around and see what the team had to say about it and everybody else's feelings. Obviously, I'm getting ready for the massive tsunami of fucking FUD and I told
Here
you
it
so
comes.
bullshit that oh
Get
dude,
your
we're gonna
wetsuit on, Biggie.
hear. Yeah, man. But obviously right now, like from what I just glanced at, everybody's like, oh, it was the ticket price. The ticket price is what did it. And I get it. Uh, it was not accessible to everybody, and size wise, it was never gonna be because it just capacity did not. It's not an NFT NYC or NFT LA type of event. But man, like to me,
Yeah.
more than anything, it's like, what does it say about our situation here in the space right now? Like, obviously, we're going through a lot on all fronts. I feel like we're getting attacked, and even within the NFT Web3 space, it's like I feel like we're a bunch of fucking crabs in a bucket just pulling each other down and calling each other names. Like we're destroying ourselves. And like I'm like, dude, like the SEC is coming after stable coins, God knows what else, like from all fronts. And we have nothing better to do but call each other names. And when I see something like this happen, I'm like, wow, man, like I mean, this conference was like unlike anything I've ever seen. Like if you just saw the roster, it was like Lollapalooza, fucking like
Yeah.
anybody and everybody. Like I don't care who you are. I've seen people fucking throw more money at dumb shit like in a matter of seconds. And so to tell me that the ticket price was the thing that ruined it all is unacceptable to me. It's like when you have an opportunity to get in a closed, tight knit community with the who's who in the space and network and do live minting and all this stuff and
You have
it's
to find that
flooded to
in
death.
between. You have to find that in between though.
I
So
don't know.
first of all, I agree with you on a couple fronts,
But
Biggie. One is the crabs in a bucket metaphor or analogy. I've been feeling that way for a long time. It was actually literally part of what spawned this network, right? Is like trying to get away from everybody in the space fighting each other for the scraps and understand the big picture here is that like there's a global industry forming much bigger than ourselves in this little bubble and ecosystem that we're in every day. And if we don't figure out a way to create something together instead of, again, competing with each other for the little scraps and just, you know, being those crabs in a bucket, we're just going to get totally demolished and owned by the big Web2 companies, the VCs, and everybody else when shit comes back. It's literally like part of the ethos of this whole network and why we're here is to try and get away from this crabs in a bucket mentality. There's way too much of that sort of negativity and everybody chopping each other down instead of how do we build each other up? How do we grow together? How do we make this better for everybody? That type of mentality. I have to say, on like a relevant sort of side note, this is also part of what makes me like the Chungos. Is it's just fun, positive vibes. No, it's like, dude, I'm sorry, like we just had them on the show on GM Web3 this morning. So
I was listening. It was a great show.
Yeah,
that
it's like
hilarious.
I feel like, you know, eventually it's going to get old and people are going to get tired of me mentioning it. But there's reasons why I think what they're doing is resonating. And there's reasons why, like, I really fuck with it now the more that I've gotten into it. And part of it is just like, dude, why are you in the space? Why are you collecting PFPs? Is it purely just the financial part? It's like, okay, cool, but you're going to be pretty miserable once you're around. A lot of the reason why people are collecting art is for the community. And if you forget that, like, you want to have fun and enjoy a community and build with each other, if you get away from that, then the whole space just becomes that crabs in a bucket negative shit, right? And so that's part of what I love about Chungos is that it's just fun, lighthearted memes and, like, you know, trying to build something cool together that doesn't take itself that seriously. So anyway, yeah, man.
There's definitely the different sectors to this, right? Like, I mean, this is a very particular sector. I don't know. It wasn't an open edition, right? GIF Chungos. It was like a straight up mint.
Free mint.
But I mean,
it was a free mint, so it was totally free.
Yeah. For me, more than anything, is like this is like, to me, proof still, you know, one of the leaders in the space when it comes to building community and embracing artists and remaining neutral between different projects. Right? We're gonna have like the Basie people there. We're going to have people from everywhere. It wasn't just like Proof and Moonbird centric. And I don't know, like I need to read a little more about it, but I can't help to escape the feeling that the result of this not being successful, as much as people I know are going to want to highlight the excessive price of the ticket, it's the FUD. It's the tremendous amount of FUD that this has received for the past month and a half, and it's like we've spoken about. I don't want to belabor the point. Like it's on all angles, right? Whether it's the founder, whether it's Moonbirds versus Proof, and the sunsetting of Proof, and this and that. But man, I don't know. Like it's one of those moments where, again, it just kind of hits you upside the head, and it's like, no, like as kumbaya as you're feeling about this space, motherfucker, there's
people have
lot
bags.
Of fucking other people that are just
that what happens to your project might benefit me, right? Like if your project looks negative, maybe somebody can come over and buy an NFT on my project. It literally is kind of a PvP nature of
that's zero sum game. Yeah, right now it is very serious.
It's like, but it's a cannibalistic mentality, right? Because like in the whole ecosystem, if we're all talking about onboarding like the next million people or whatever the hell is, like. Yeah, maybe I sell 10 Moonbirds and buy an ape, and then what? Right? Like you just shrunk the whole ecosystem even more. You just shrunk, like you just took out like a whole fucking sector of developers and creators to what? For a myopic view of the metaverse and of what there's only one PFP project ever. Like it's so strange to me how we behave in this space. And like we know this, we talk about it here in the space all the time, right? Like such a small amount of wallets just trading amongst each other. That's all we are. Like there's nothing else. And when I see this, I'm like, man, this would have been a great opportunity to show the world, like, man, this is Switzerland. We're all inclusive. And it's completely the opposite.
For those people just joining, we're still talking about Proof of conference getting canceled. So if you're just joining us, I see you guys joining. We'll get to some comments as well, but GIF, go ahead.
Well, so I agree with everything you're saying, Biggie. And again, it comes back to a lot of the short-sighted thinking and not thinking about this space as a sustainable long-term, industry. But the one thing that I have to say that is critical is that I think they might have been a little bit tone deaf, and that's like they're getting the whiplash from that with the pricing, because you have to find the middle ground, right? Where it's like you have to make it sustainable and pay for your event or find ways to do that, but you can't burden too much of that on the community that's already bought in. And so you have to find that middle ground of accessibility. And like we've been going through this too. We've done all of our events so far totally free, and that is definitely not sustainable, which is why this Web3 Denver is the first time we're doing ticketing, but we're making it extremely cheap and accessible, right? So it's like, I do think that if they had maybe done a little bit more market research, asked the community, or put a little bit more time and thought into where the market's at, and how people are feeling, that they might have done a better job of like finding that price point. So I mean, that's the one thing that I'll say is they maybe were a little bit tone deaf.
No, there's definitely, I'm sure there's definitely like very obvious things that we're gonna see in this tsunami of FUD that we're talking about, and I know there's certain points that are gonna be brought up, even points that have, I thought long ago had been solved or addressed, but I mean, that's how these communities are, and let's see how it plays out. But yeah, It's been a crazy fucking last 15 minutes. I'm very pumped about my BAGCHECK though. It's super cute. If you guys go to my profile, you can see it. It's green, and unfortunately, like, these things move, so you'd have to go to the OpenSea to see them. But it's such a trippy type of art. Like, I don't know. I find it to be very, very psychedelic, and the fact that this guy does it like through like programming and robots, it's insane to me, dude. It's like, what are you giving these robots, dude? Fucking acid.
Biggie, send me a link for the OpenSea piece there so they can kind of see it in real time.
Yeah, I'll send it.
All right, I want to get to the comments. We see you guys hopping in here for the first NFT live of the week. We're going to be here all week, till Thursday, that is. And then we're going to do some cool shit on Friday. I'm certain of it. Hash Rhymes is saying OVOT. Big Chungo love. Jose Meneses is saying Big Chungo love. Nox Darkness, OVOT. Don R saying that as well. Justin Casey is here. Asmodai is here. We're talking about the Proof conference getting canceled. Quasar saying great Web3 room with the Chungos this morning. Big vibes and community support. What I can only now state as like a love story to Chungos happened on GM Web3 this morning. So Gift Ed was doing that all morning. Gift, how are you doing to start your week along with that room for the GM Web3 morning show?
Yeah, it was an amazing space. Chief Chungo, one of the founders, or the lead founder, the main founder of Chungos, came on and spent the whole 2 hours. I didn't expect him to spend the whole 2 hours with us. So that was really cool. And man, the Chungos show up, man. Like, that community is next level right now, and what they've done in the 3 weeks since they've launched, I think, is amazing. So, that's why I could not be more stoked about this official announcement that we just put up this morning about the first ever Chungos party happening at the Marijuana Mansion with us during Web3 Denver. This is going to be lit. Look at this freaking badass poster of the Chungo Mansion.
Dude, those Chungos can stretch, man.
Oh, they stretching. Yeah, Stretch Armstrong. Stretch Chungo over here.
Is Chungos a noun? Is it a verb? Is it an adjective?
Yes. All of the above.
Yeah.
Okay. So you could get away just saying Chungo and trying to speak the English language by just saying Chungo. Got it. Chungo. Did you hear the prayer? Yes, I did.
I love that, by the way. That was phenomenal. That was great.
We will talk Chungos here and when we get to the quick news portion. We do have, and we mentioned PvP earlier in relation to different collections and how they treat different announcements that we just kind of talked about with Proof of conference getting canceled. But the biggest PvP battle is playing out on the biggest stage, which is Blur versus OpenSea. We got a fucking ginormous update from OpenSea in response. to Blur taking over market
Another
share.
one.
I mean, another one. We will see that. But we're going to touch on Chungos. You know, I do get the Gutter Cat Gang. Early Gutter Cat Gang vibes were a little bit like the Chungo vibes. You're talking about King Chungo, and the way that they talk to King Chungo reminds me of how guys were talking to Gutter Dan. And all the vibes in that community. I know since then there's been a lot of like ups and downs for that community, but the collection does remind me of Gutter Cat Gang.
They went pretty far though. You know what I mean? They also had a primary sale though. I mean, look, again, we got to do this thing. This is important. This is not financial advice, and the information was found publicly on the interwebs. Opinions shared on this episode are solely that of the Web3 team, and all information is public domain. Please DYOR or do your own research, fam. But I mean, look, Chungos, what they're doing is a very difficult thing. They launched as a free mint, no primary sales incoming, and they're, until they figure out the Web 2, additional business models and figure out how to do that, royalties are their only revenue. And we know how unstable that is right now. They've been going back and forth with Blur and OpenSea, and we actually got some really interesting transparency from Chief Chungo about what he's been going through. Apparently he was really misled by the Blur team. Blur basically told him it was all good, they'd protect royalties, and then they turned on bids, and then they took the royalties away, and then OpenSea did, and then they had to go back to OpenSea, and then apparently OpenSea turned them back on for them. It's been a mess. It's been a mess.
But you'd think, right? It's like we're trying to grow this space, and everything that's happening is completely the opposite.
It's a bear market, Biggie. Even though we're making some wins,
dude. I've
the
been
bear
through
market
several
like
bear
this.
markets, man. The past bear markets are nothing like this one.
Well, there's activity.
This one, I feel like, there's actual projects built on top of these things already happening, and communities built, and it's just, I don't know. There's just a lot more cacophony going on, and I don't know. It seems like a mob. It's like in the middle of a mob. That's how I feel.
That is fair. Yeah, there's a lot of activity, and there's a lot of again, like infighting and stuff like this that we can touch on. I do have some housekeeping that we want to wrap this segment up with, which is that we have the Web3 Denver event next week. It's already upon us. We are here at the end of February, going into the Web3 Denver conference. We just mentioned we're going to do a party with the Chungos, but we have a full list of partners and sponsors that are going to be taking part at the Web3 Academy, as well as the Web3 Lounge. 2 locations, February 28th, March 4th. Like I said, 2 locations, no Biggie Poppins, unfortunately.
Oof. Yeah. Not going to make
it.
There's still people.
Missing.
There's still people being added to the lineup too. That's what's incredible, is there's still more artists that want to showcase, more people that want to come through, and some last sponsors and partners that are coming on board. But it's going to be stacked. It's going to be a great time, and if nothing else, the vibes will be lit. The community will be there. So you know what? Go to w3b3.life. That's the website. Check it out. If we can throw up that QR code. Q's QR code. There it is. No art on that one. Oh, there it is. Hey, there we go. Looks good. Yeah, just I see it now. Yeah, scan that. That'll will not
drain your wallets.
Yeah, will not drain your wallet. That will go to w3b3.life and tell you more about everything happening at Web3 Denver.
You love to see it. All right, last piece of housekeeping. Gifted. I see what you got pulled up on my screen. We had Jessica Yatrofsky here last week. What's going on?
I mean, what's going on? Our friend Jessica, we switched back. There it is. Good friend of the castle, good friend of Web3, one of our tribe, one of our very own, Jessica Yatrofsky's new project. She is an OpenSea partner. And right now, if you go to the OpenSea homepage, look at that. XXGen. Very, very proud of this. Looks like 20 hours. Countdown is on. It's a big deal. We just got to celebrate the fam. Shout out J Yacht. We are very proud of you, and I know that this is going to be awesome. I'm definitely going to be trying to mint. I got a room 707 key, so I think room 707 key holders should get a first go. That's my understanding. So I'm.
Do you have a pink or a gold? GIF.
I definitely have a pink one. I think I had a gold maybe in another wallet, but I know I got a pink one. I found that one. I went and searched it up. I was like, where is my room 707?
Love to see it. Okay, that is going to wrap it up pretty much for the house check or housekeeping here. I don't. Wow, I got thrown off because I'm trying to buy a check. Anyways, Coder Dan, we talked about Aavegotchi last week. I believe Gifted was able to actually buy first Aavegotchi last week.
What?
Really?
You know
yeah,
what?
and yeah, send me that link. But
I don't believe it.
This is going to be, and this is a little bit of alfalfa for you guys. The team mentioned this, that they were actually voting on removing the bonding curve, which is essentially setting a supply cap for Ghost. So the bonding curve, there's a lot of mechanical processes that we don't have to dive into. What you need to know is, and this is not financial advice, closing the Ghost bonding curve essentially limits the supply of Ghost token. It caps the supply where it previously was going to be inflationary for the end of time, or at least be able to not have that supply cap. Well, there's 95% of the community, at least at this point, has voted yes to this bonding curve. And again, this tweet comes from Coder Dan.
You've got to pull up the Ghost token price because this is huge. Y'all, look, we'll say it a million times over. Nothing we talk about here is financial advice, but our calls over the last few months have been really strong. And if y'all been paying attention, there's probably a lot of people doing all right here because we had Aavegotchi. We had Aavegotchi on when it was down there around $1 last week. And then literally right like a day or two after this went through, it's up 50%. So if you pay attention about the alpha that was dropped on this channel by Dr. Wagme about their token and about this very proposal, he came and talked about this a day or two before this shit happened. And this shit has pumped 50% in the last couple of days. And I started buying more Ghost. Again, who knows if it might come back down from here because it just pumped 50%. But based on what he shared, like I'm pretty bullish on it because I think they've got I think he said 20 mil in their vault or something that they're going to be. I don't know. I forget. I need to go back and listen to everything that Dr. Wagme shared. But there's apparently a lot of capabilities and more volatility and possible upside being unlocked through this proposal. That's why it's pumping again 50% in the last couple of days. And if you can pull up mine, you can see I finally got a Ghost or a Gotchi. There you go.
Nice.
Little Bitcoin Gotchi.
Bitcoin
okay.
one. It.
There you go. I'm in. It
What's
took
the
me. Oh, go ahead.
Nice. What's the eye rarity like? Sorry, I immediately want to analyze. It's what's
decent.
up?
It's decent.
It's decent. Nice. Congrats, dude.
Yeah, man.
Can't wait to see you in the Gotchi verse.
I'm excited about it. It definitely took me a few steps. It is not the easiest, most user-friendly get into. There are a couple different things you got to do, but I was able to figure out the one thing, Biggie, that I need your help with. I was able to figure out how to stake my Gotchi in the vault, but for some reason, it wouldn't let me stake my Ghost coin. So maybe I'm doing something wrong, but my Gotchi is staked in the vault. My Ghost coin wouldn't let me for some reason. So that's
strange.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one later. But
yeah, for sure.
I'm excited to be part of it. And honestly, especially after having Dr. Wagme here, I was already interested in getting in because you and Q have both been talking about it for a while. But after, seeing how deep it is, how engaged it's all community driven, and it seems like they're really, really active. And again, they're an OG Polygon collection, and they're getting a lot of support coming in from Polygon.
As they should.
Yeah, two things with Gotchi really make me bullish on them. One, Polygon in general feels like it's ready to kind of take that next step when it comes to PFPs, when it comes to what they're doing with collections, all that stuff. And then Gotchi feels like they kind of figured it out. They launched it. They've been great at shipping products and different features for Aavegotchi, but a lot of times it's not user friendly, or like we talked about, it has that complexity chasm. It feels like they finally kind of figured that out, where they're like, we're going to actually ship products that people can actually get involved in and do that long term. So yeah, Aavegotchi, we love you. Gotchi gang. We're here for you guys. All right.
The OG Ghost in the Machine, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Just number one.
I love a comment in chat. Donar saying NFA called Poly 2 up 50%. We got Polygon over the last 30 days pumping. Now there's been some pumps across the market, right? ETH is up over the 30-day period. For the most part, we're sitting at like 1,700, but Polygon's up like what, almost 100% since, it's sitting around 70 cents. We're sitting at $1.50 now.
Look, everybody was fading us. Everybody was telling us we were crazy. We just kept talking about all the things happening on Polygon, and hey, it's looking like it's all coming to fruition right now. I mean, when you're right, you're right. Don't know what else to say about that.
All right, folks, we are getting into the NFT Go bag check portion of the episode. Please leave a like on today's episode. It helps. Actually, don't please. Just go do it. We're not going to move on till you do it. So please leave a like on the episode. If it's your first time here, we are covering the NFT and Web3 space across a bunch of different creators. I'm sitting here with two great ones here, Gifted, Biggie Poppins, but we also have Easy in Crypto. We have Kane Mayfield. We have Ronan the Collector. We have Fun Uncle. We have a bunch of different creators. Also, Gift, remind me of your co-host on Fuck You Money.
Kelly Pantaleone.
So we have Kelly Pantaleone on the channel as well. So we're growing the network. We appreciate it if you could help us do so by liking the episode. Otherwise,
I was gonna say we gotta shout out our audience too, man. They are fucking awesome, Asmodi, Don R, Marty, Nox Darkness. I could go on forever. Quantum, you guys are so cool. Like, I think they make this show, they enhance it, they bring such cool value and breaking news and commentary. I mean, that's why I keep coming back as well. It's my two co-hosts, but it's you guys as well. You're awesome.
Biggie's like, those guys are the only reason I come back. I don't know why I hang out.
It's the audience. Fuck y'all too. No.
Okay, I love that. Love that shout out.
It's unique, man. I think, like, honestly, like, go check out some other shows. I mean, it behooves you, of course, but I've yet to find one with this unique interaction and like just straight up bosses in this chat. So love it.
Love to see it. All right, NFT Go bag check. Here we go. Barometers at 45. We're heating up, folks. We've been in a blue territory for a long time here. We're sitting in that little yellow mix at 45. So we're up pretty big on the market sentiment. People still in 30-day losses. Traders and sellers. There's more sellers than buyers here as we get there. Blue chip index is up big, even against ETH, against USD. I'm sure that looks a lot like it. So we're doing good over the last 7 days. Market cap and volume continues to stay strong against ETH. USD is rising as well. So we're seeing a little bit of a pickup. Wonder your guys' takes on why that is. Holders, we got a little spike. Usually this is just stairs up, but we got a little spike today here. And traders continuing to crab out over the last 7 days. Let's take a look at the collections for the last 7 days. Other deeds, no announcement whatsoever. Everyone is kind of going on previous announcements that other side has released. We have the Lick the Toad event that everybody's thinking we're getting that second trip. We also got a announcement about the Legend of Mara, but no real information that led to this volume increase, topping out the NFT market on Ethereum. Mutant Ape Yacht Club, Moonbirds, Azuki, Bored Ape, Beans, Doodles, CloneX, Checks, Bored Apes, and others. You know what I'm surprised not to see on here, guys, is Oniforce. I feel like Oniforce has been pumping pretty heavily here.
Pumping. Yeah. And the rare, or not the rare, the OPEPN editions and all the checks. There's multiple checks collections and multiple visualized value collections. I flipped 3 OPEPN editions last night. Freaking amazing.
OPEPNs. I need to get the OPEPN. Oh, OPEPN right here. Number 3 in volume on the last 24 hours. Mutant Apes taking the top spot. Rengas are on there as well. We're not going to even touch the marketplaces yet because that's our biggest story. So we're not going to touch that in the bag check portion. Let's just get into the major story of today, which is that OpenSea came out with a huge announcement. We have round 2. This is probably like round 15, actually, from OpenSea and Blur. The charts for market volume, market traders, market activity are absolutely wild in the last, I would say, month. This looks crazy. And we've been covering this for a while. Let me make sure I get the right chart for you guys. We've been covering this C launch Dune Analytics dashboard for a while. That is a lot of orange. And that
So apparently
is all,
Blur surpassed over 100 million in one 24-hour period in trading volume.
which is great for the space, not good for OpenSea. We'll get to their tweet here in a second. But I mean, this has been like a 50% share for a long time. We see, some outliers, but over literally the past, 3 or 4 days, you see that market share increase. People are trying to get on this season 2 for Blur. Unique users by Phil Source. Looks like there's still some blue sales counts. OpenSea's hanging in there. So there's some metrics where OpenSea is hanging in there, but it basically led, in this chart that you see, basically has led to OpenSea dropping royalties. They came out with a huge Twitter thread on the case and basically said, hey, we're going to a promotional 0% marketplace fee, as well as going to optional royalties for collections and creators, basically succumbing to market forces with Blur taking a bunch of share from them. That's essentially what happened. I'll try to find the exact tweet. I thought I had that up, but takes on this move by OpenSea. For the longest time, they kind of were championing the creators, and they were saying, hey, we're launching all these things because this is our ethos and this is what we're trying to do. Well, here is the tweet that they came out with again on 3 days ago about removing on-chain royalties, kind of just going to this optional royalty piece.
Yeah. Are we digging into it here? I guess we are.
What?
If
Yes.
I feel like me and Q have always tried to be like, balance, do the balancing act. But GIF, you've always been a little suspicious, and now's your time to shine, bro. Let him have it. Let them have it. They deserve it.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, it's like, it doesn't. Me just getting upset about how they're treating artists and royalties doesn't really change anything, unfortunately. Like, there needs to be some community activism and like artists coming together. And this is literally, what happened in the real world in the creative industries is that they created guilds, like the Directors Guild and Screen Actors Guild, SAG-AFTRA, all these different things is like, and there's what do you call them? Fuck, what's the word? I'm blanking here. But this is there's a reason why people organize in certain ways to try and demand certain things, right? Is because otherwise the market will just treat you like the market and does, and not give a shit about anything other than profit. And that's why regulation matters in the first place. Like, I think that all of us here are capitalists. We believe in the free market, but also if you have a completely free market with zero regulation, that's also scary and ugly, right? Because things go sideways very quickly. You can't trust in the products. There's nothing providing consumer safety or quality assurance. It's like, these are the things why you do need some kind of guidelines sometimes to how some markets can work. And I'm for that here, because I think if we can't find ways to incorporate artists in an equitable way so that they can build sustain themselves, then we're going to really lose out on the potential of this space. It will be less inclusive. It will be very much like Web 2. You won't have as many creators having a come up, having a glow up, starting businesses in the space, because they just won't be able to. And the Chungos are an excellent example. Like, literally, that was a free mint, and their only revenue stream is royalties. And they're getting dicked around by the marketplaces just like most other creators and projects are right now. So it's unfortunate. It is what it is. I'm also, trying to survive as a trader collector in the space. And so I've now gotten to the point where I'm using Blur and not paying royalties on some things. And I don't like it. But like, this is the unfortunate place that we're in. And until There's better way. Obviously, I don't do that with like artists and like one-offs and things like that. But like a lot of the collections that I'm flipping right now, I'm not paying royalties on anymore. I don't want it to be that way, but that is now been created as a standard. That is the standard right now.
But you could still play royalties on it's optional, isn't it?
I could, but on an OPEPN edition that like I'm just flipping, like I'm gonna do what I can to survive too, and that's the market.
So we're seeing a little bit of a flip.
This is the problem. No, it's not flipping. I'm still I want, like, okay, it is a flip in that I am now doing more what you and Ronan did, which is when you're just trying to make money because you need to flip something on a big collection, you don't feel as guilty. Kind of like if you stole something from a Walmart versus your neighbor, it's not good either way, in my opinion. But also like you feel a little less guilty when you steal a candy bar from Walmart than if you were stealing from your neighbor. And that's a shitty analogy, but that's kind of like how I feel about it. Like I feel like right now, as somebody who's trying to survive as a trader, like if I'm just flipping shit on Blur, you know what? That's the market now. And it is a trader's market. Unfortunately, what we're seeing is because right now is not an artist's market. It's not a collector's market. This is survival, PvP, bear market economics. And like, you got to do what you got to do. That's just where we're at. I want there to be protections in place for artists, though. I am not flip-flopping on that. That's what I want. I want that. And unfortunately, again, because the marketplaces aren't going to fucking do that. They're not, clearly they're going to do whatever they can to race to the bottom and like throw whoever under the bus, as long as it helps their market share. You know, the artists and creators are going to have to unionize. That, I think that's the word I was looking for, is like unions. You know, unions have a lot of negativities, but like there's a reason why they also exist for a lot of things too, right? Is because you can collectively bargain or stand up for certain things that you believe in. And unfortunately, I think creators and artists are going to have to unionize in some way to create better standards. Otherwise, it seems like the trend here is racing towards zero, and that artist royalties don't matter to the industry and the big players. And that, honestly, it's fucked.
First thing, welcome to the dark side. Welcome to where me and Biggie have been operating for a little while. I do agree with paying royalties towards creators that you want to support, that maybe aren't large conglomerate collections that we see across the space. Maybe I also was championing a cap for these royalties as well. Where was all this happening when I sold my ape, so I don't have to pay $20,000 to $25,000 in a fucking royalty? I don't really want to be, doing that consistently. The second thing I will say is we've been calling this and tracking this for a long time from the fucking beginning. I haven't really had a good feeling about OpenSea. I think they're a wolf in sheep's clothing. I think that they, especially with the Seaport implementation, we're saying this is all about creators and us protecting creators. That's a narrative that they're trying to push. And and you'll see this. I almost want to queue up the Dear Solana community, because this is how this reads. This is how this fucking thread reads. And I'll read it. Context. There's been a massive shift in the NFT ecosystem. In October, we started to see meaningful volume in users move to NFT marketplaces that don't fully enforce creator earnings. The shift has accelerated dramatically.
I.e., we're getting our asses handed to us.
Exactly. Free market capitalism, you fuckers. We've worked to defend creator earnings on all collections when others didn't. And when we introduced the operator filter, it was our belief that on-chain enforcement was the best way for creators, aka the best way for us to stop Blur's market share from increasing, to secure their revenue stream from ongoing resale of their work. We thought we could catalyze widespread enforcement of creator earnings, aka we thought we could kill Blur by enforcing Seaport Protocol, and we hoped others might come up with more resilient solutions. This hasn't happened, and therefore we're destroying the values that we apparently attest to having. So I'm not going to continue to read this. This goes on and on. Continue to pull up the Dune Analytics dashboard. I have never really been a big fan of OpenSea. A lot of these like first movers have been slow to adopt new features, slow to adopt and do a lot of different things. MetaMask, I've been kind of throwing under the bus as well, because they're one of the first movers that seems to just be resting on their laurels. They're making some fees from people using swaps in their platform, and they're like, we don't really need to protect privacy. I'm sorry, security and privacy, but more so on the security front. Not release features that could protect their users. They just want to kind of rest on their laurels. That's my opinion. Biggie, I want to get you in here, folks. We will get to some of your comments as well. A lot of good ones coming through.
Well, I think there's two glaring like points to be made here. One is the OpenSea narrative and the way they've handled themselves around the community, which I totally agree with you, Q and GIF, where they've it's been very hard to trust whatever stance they take because they flip-flopped several times on different initiatives, and you can just tell that their users are not their primary concern. It's their market cap because they eventually want to go public and they're beholden to their shareholders. Nothing new there, but it's just like that disingenuous tone that they take with their users, right? Like it's the morality argument of it that really, it's pisses you off, right? Like somebody coming and telling you sweet nothings and lying to your face. That's, I feel, at least
because
for me,
morals don't change day to day, right? That's the issue.
Exactly.
If these are actually your values or your morals, then it wouldn't matter what the market was doing.
Now, having said that, I think when it comes to the fee argument, that's a little bit more particular for me because I think it was inevitable. The minute this argument started, I think people that have been in the financial markets for the longest of times knew where this was going. It's going to zero. It's going to zero. Between all of them, they were going to compete their way all the way down to zero. So that was inevitable. And I think the writing was on the wall for any project that you were not going to sustain on royalties alone. And if that's your business plan coming into this market right now, you're launching a project and you think you're just going to sit pretty, making money on royalties, not going to happen. And again, I think that should be clear for most serious developers in this space. Having said that, there's this other subsector in the community to me that is the one-of-one artists, and in that particular space, I do feel very strongly in favor of royalties, right? And unfortunately, at the smart contract level, it's clear that it's not possible to enforce them. And so what I think you're going to start seeing is different approaches to be able to retain that, right? Like out of good faith, by rewarding the holders that do pay those royalties and that are loyal fans and you've seen it, right? Like, for example, somebody like Dmitry Cherniak, like he's had projects that he's launched and it's only sold to certain collectors with this very stern warning that if you sell, I'm going to flood this fucking market and crash your price down to zero. Yeah, I mean, call it a threat, but hey, it works. So far, nobody is sold, right? And I mean, that's an extreme example. And I understand what you're talking about also, GIF, with unions, although I'm nothing against unions. I just feel like they can be very slow. They can also be gamed and they're inefficient.
I hope. Let's be honest. I know. Unions have negative sides to them too. That's literally
exactly.
What I said. But there's a reason why sometimes you need that.
I'm not saying that they're not gonna. I'm not saying that that's not an approach that some people are gonna take. I'm just thinking that we need to think out of the box. We need to be able to leverage this technology in our favor, right? And I think what I hear some of the people that I admire most talking about is vertical marketplaces. Mm-hmm. Vertical marketplaces for specific collections, for specific projects, where communities will congregate and follow the rule of law, right? And I think that's always been, I don't know, like I feel like we're going through this rip the Band-Aid moment, right? And I'm all for it. If we're gonna get this tsunami of FUD, and if we're gonna, I don't want to keep having this fucking debate. I hope this is the last time we ever do. Honestly, I know. But it's just like I think some people just need to see the writing on the wall and refuse to do so. This is never gonna be reversed. Never. They're going to fucking zero. And I don't care who your favorite marketplace is. No one's gonna do what you want them to do, right? And so just understand that, like, we go back to something that we've addressed here also, Gift, which is like, your wallet is your pedigree, it is your calling card, it is your reputation, right? And so I feel in the long run, we will see certain artists reward those collectors that have not cheated them out of royalties, that have been long-term holders. You will see other people implement different scenarios to try to incentivize their collectors to be long-term holders, and to really like that's really what you want to do, right? Like, I feel like you're curating not just for art, but you're curating for your own collectors and your own community.
You've got to find ways to create revenue as a artist and as a business, as a startup, right? And so this is damaging. Like, most startups in the Web3 space are not entirely dependent on royalties, but some are, and a lot of them do rely on royalties as a big chunk of their total revenue that they bring in, right? And so where is that revenue going to come from? To me, again, what this does is it stifles a lot of the entrepreneurship and innovation at the community level. It means that there's going to be more top-down development from the people that already have money, that are already in the Web2 space, the big celebrities, the big platforms, the VCs, all the Web2 brands, all that shit. We're going to get a lot more of that, and that's going to become a bigger part of the overall index of what we're seeing, because small guys, startups, aren't going to be able to support themselves as easily. And that's one of the negative side effects of this. I think what you're all saying is right, Biggie. But I think, incentives need to be figured out, and it's very difficult because everybody is very much in this right now as a trader, working as a rational individual. It's not a collector's market. It's not an artist market. And I don't know if y'all can hear this. Oh, that didn't work, did it?
Your soundboard, Gift?
I'm trying to.
Is this a Dear Solana community? Come on.
Yeah.
Jesus. Which, by the way, I wasn't like, DeGods were moving to Polygon for that reason, right? Mm-hmm. Because of the whole royalty. Well, that shit's gone.
Yeah.
Where you go?
It's tough because for me, first of all, like, broad regulation across the entire sector doesn't seem to me like the right way to go, because who's going to enforce all of that stuff, especially in Web3, and then who's going to be making the rules? That's the point I get down to, is like, then who is deciding the rules? I think that having that free market perspective of like, you're going to go to a platform to pay a certain amount of royalties, and that's fine. I think that's the vertical approach, the vertical platform approach that Biggie was mentioning. I think is probably the way it plays out. I do want to talk about an OpenSea token Gift, but before I do get to that, the other piece I want to get to is like this idea, again, going back to OpenSea and why they're struggling right now, is because they didn't really foster any type of community feeling. They were the biggest marketplace. You could go there to, buy and sell.
Amazon. They're the Amazon.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to make it into like a local economy perspective and analogy here. It's like, I will probably go to a local mom and pop shop and pay a little bit extra, aka, like in this analogy, a little bit of a fee to support that person. The problem is OpenSea didn't foster any of those values. Like, I don't want to go to OpenSea and be like, I'm going to stay on your platform and pay these fees because I actually support you. I will support the creators. Like I said, I'll go to OpenSea and buy and pay full royalties, or, create, like, put to the top percentage, whatever that is on OpenSea, for a creator that I respect and want to support. But I'm not going to stay on OpenSea because they clearly show they don't care about me. I go to that mom and pop because I'm like, I care about you. I see you. I will pay extra to be here and do business here. OpenSea never created that environment, and they didn't make their product any that's my biggest piece, is like, if OpenSea had fostered Web3 values, had cared about the community engagement, had launched a token, and we're about to talk about that here in a second, I might be apt to stay on that platform and pay the extra fee. OpenSea never did any of that. They're fat cats. They padded their pockets. They decided they wanted to continue to do that until another competitor finally emerged. You know, they were comfortable punching down to Rarible and to Gem and to all these other ones until Big Bad Blur came along, and now you see their true colors.
Victim.
And so we got some great comments coming in here. Left Action House asking, is this going to make more creators move to BTC NFTs? I actually don't know about that, or like how royalties work, or if they have. I don't think they don't have smart contracts, right? So like, I don't know why that would necessarily be the point, but Quantum Variant adding in that royalties are still in place on other blockchains other than ETH. So that could definitely be a side effect, is more artists going to other blockchains. Again, I don't know about BTC necessarily. But I want to say on this mom and pop shop logic, it's a real thing. Like, it is a phenomenon that people feel good to an extent of like, hey, I supported local. You get that kind of special connection, local charm. You know, maybe you get something extra from the environment, or feeling like you're, again, you know, maybe you feel like you're doing something good. You're part of a community. That is real. And I think that that effect does matter and does exist. However, at scale, it's kind of a myth, because what you see is that the Walmarts, the Amazons, the Starbuckses, the big guys that have a low price, a standard offering, consistency that's easy and convenient will continue to dominate. And that's where the habits and the majority of spending is all going to go. And that's the unfortunate reality, is that as much as like I went to a local coffee shop here in LA yesterday, and of course I enjoyed that, but I'm still going to Starbucks 8 or 9 out of 10 times, because they're all there, they're ready, they're easy, and like I know it, you know what I mean? Or I'm going to Dunkin's or Starbucks. So it's like to go out of my way to search out the local spot, pay extra, go, you know, do all of that. Most people just aren't going to take the time and energy or want to spend more. And so while it does exist at a small level, like, yes, some people definitely operate that way in their day-to-day lives. Most people only do that in a special occasion, and it's not their normal day-to-day activities anymore. And that's the unfortunate thing about that whole idea of like supporting local. A lot of people
feel like Web3 kind of shifts that on its head, though. It's the idea of having at scale the ability to have incentives for large communities.
But you need those incentives. So yes,
so Starbucks NFTs, for example, are a way that they can connect further with their base. Like that's a step in the right direction. You know what I mean? That's a step that Dunkin' hasn't taken yet.
And providing new incentives and rewards for engaging. And it's like, yes, this is all possible. But again, if people aren't actually willing to build and invest and focus on creating those standards and those incentives and focusing on those, then it doesn't matter what the possibility is, because there's money and there's volume, and over here you can just race to the bottom. And you know what I mean? It's like, so where's the focus? That's what matters. It's like people can choose where they focus. And right now the market is focused on volume, money, flipping, trading.
Well, here's the thing. In my opinion, OpenSea didn't focus on their community, and Blur, through the launch of the Blur token, did. At the end of the day,
or at least
providing
value.
They provide value back to the people that use their platform. And we could sit up here and talk about how that could be gamed and all that stuff. They did provide value back. OpenSea has never done that and would not have if this didn't happen. I think, Biggie, I agree with you that eventually there was going to be a competitor, and eventually they would need to react to that competitor, aka the timeline that we're in now. But Blur did do this at scale. Blur said, I'm going to provide value back to you and make you feel like you are a part of whatever's going on here.
You're giving them a lot of credit on the community side, though. I feel like it's more
community's probably
like we're all rallying around a fucking token that everybody goddamn dumped.
Yeah,
like lots of community.
Holding. There's a lot of people holding now.
Dude, it's up to $1.20. I just checked it. It's going up, and I'm actually think it's probably going to keep going up. I mean, again, not financial advice, but like, look, I think you're giving them a lot of community, a lot of credit in using the word community here for what they're doing. Yes, they're incentivizing people in the community, but to me, like, if you look at how they handled the rollout of it without communicating, with misleading U.S. consumers, like, I don't really think that, like, okay, these are great community people. I think they're very smart business people, and they understand the value of creating these types of incentives and rewards. I think that's it, right? And also they're very product focused. They're creating a great product that is differentiated. I just don't want to like wrap that all in like they get the community. It's like I think they just don't know how to.
It looks different than even what we're doing here, right? It definitely does, but there is a way to at scale do it better than what OpenSea was doing, and that's what they're doing. Is my point. I agree with your point.
They seem to be more engaged. I've seen some people online just being like, "Yo, I reached out to Blur and they like shot me back a message on Discord immediately. I've been trying to get a hold of OpenSea for 2 years." You know, so it's like they do have a little bit more community focus as well.
So guys, if you look at the chat, call out any comments because we've been sitting up here talking and there's been a lot of comments coming through. We love to see it. Donar saying in a bear marketplaces will focus on generating demand. In the bull, they will shift back to attracting supply. I don't think the royalty thing is done. We agree with that. Asmodai is saying, are these royalties just too much of a Web 2 thing? And should we be looking at new Web 3 ways? So let's keep going through the comments and then kind of retrace back to this. So if you guys see any, let me know. Jack's Hideaway had a lot of great ones. One of them being a person can only live by their own principles and cannot enforce those principles on others. That's Web3 and why Web3 citizens must find a community they align with. Quantum Variant, we see you. Hayoka has a great one as well. OpenSea went from breakthrough innovator to dinosaur. Tells how fast this space moves. Great comment.
Yeah,
there.
I mean, Mumbot's asking if anybody tuned into the Animoca Twitter, and Yatsu had a lot of good stuff to say about royalties. All right, what's up with Yat? Are we talking to him this week?
We're talking to him this week. We've got a call scheduled with him. He's been on the road traveling. I did have that queued up, actually. He had a thread here. I don't know if it's the actual spaces, but he's in favor of creator royalties. Again, he's saying as OpenSea, Blur battle for market share at the expense of creator royalties, the true losers and all this are the creators and the ecosystem as a whole. I attach a reminder thread as to why fair creator royalties is critical to maintain. Yacht's at the end of the day, Yacht's a great businessman, and at the end of the day, my belief is that from a creator royalties perspective, this was a great narrative that drove a lot of adoption into this space. I think these things
more than a narrative, though. It actually really impacted a lot of people's lives in a very positive.
Well, the narrative can impact people's lives. Like, the narrative leads to impacting people's lives is what I'm trying to get at. So this narrative going away and people focusing on something else, like trying to survive as a business, has now led to creator royalties getting stashed. But technically the ability to earn fees on a percentage of each sale in perpetuity feels like it should go into Web3. Like there was a question earlier, like, is this a Web 2 thing? We shouldn't do it. No, this was a really cool innovation that should be continued. It's just how do we get to a point where we can continuously enforce it without marketplaces feeling like they're the ones leading the charge? It's still up in the air for me.
Yeah, to me, Web3 without artists and creators being able to, try and create their version of generational wealth, or at least capture more value out of the work that they're doing, that's not a Web3 I've ever wanted to live in. Like, to me, that's not Web3. That's more like Web2. Because now you're saying to them, like, actually go back to your agency or your big studio job where all of the stuff that you do is owned by someone else, because that's the only place where you're going to get value. You can't even get value in Web3 now. Doesn't matter how hard you work or how cool it is or how innovative your shit is. Unless you're a big VC or you've already got a business model built behind you, this place is not going to work for you. Sorry, fam. Try again. So it's like, to me, that was always it's actually literally what got me into Web3 is that promise of being able to scale more value to creative communities across the world. That's literally what inspired me to be here, is the potential for that. That's why this is such a big deal for me. Yeah. And why, like, I'm trying very hard to just be like, look, it is what it is, and like not get super heated and pissed, because like I feel like we've already done that and it's been said to death. But Yatsu called it out in his fucking tweet. He said the true losers here are the artists and the creators. So what's happening is marketplaces are throwing the artists, the ethos of all the creative energy in the space under the fucking bus immediately for their own market share. It's short-term thinking, and it really does, in my opinion, fuck up the ecosystem in a really, really negative way.
More context here. Yatsu is the co-founder of Animoca Brands. They're primarily in the gaming space. Yat has made a ton of money and a ton of clout, and his whole career has been based on essentially finding mobile gaming and then getting into the Web3 space. When he's talking about long-term value creation, getting back to, again, this narrative that I'm talking about, I'm trying to get into his mind, right? Because he wants to support creators, obviously, but his background is in mobile gaming and the gaming space. This idea that gaming publishers can get a percentage of all NFT sales in perpetuity is the narrative that he's been selling all of these gaming companies that he's trying to get into Web3.
Exactly. This has been core. This has been core to the whole space. That's why I haven't, you've seen me struggle with this and like trying to understand what the fuck is going on as you know, even Q, when you and like Mike Finch and, you know, y'all come at it from more of the sort of like the market side or the trading side or the collecting side, and a little bit less from the creator side sometimes. Like I've even struggled at times to like have like a clear, you know, understanding with you, because it's so hard for me to understand.
But you're doing it now.
I know.
That's the understanding.
But I'm just saying, because I come from that side of it, it really is very frustrating and difficult for me to imagine this space without the ethos and the promise of royalties for artists. That's been central to what Web3 is supposed to be, and the promise of Web3. It's supposed to empower more people, not just empower the fucking marketplaces.
From the time that I got into the space, there weren't these debates. I think a lot of people have gotten into the space in a time where royalties, and I'm not saying you have, I know you've been around, but I'm just like throwing out a blanket statement, I guess, of people getting into the space and having the narratives be what they are at the time they get in. So when I was in the space, it was more about that. It had nothing to do with, like, there were rarely creators or business people. That's what ICOs essentially were. There weren't NFTs at the time. And so when I see the space, I look at it for more free market capitalism, and these things were the predominant narrative of the day. I will still, and have said from the beginning, I will pay full royalties on the creators that I want to support. But Biggie.
And I think I can't help but think that in the end, you know, it's not a real, I totally get you and sympathize with you, Gif. I also am very bullish, and it's definitely a part of the narrative that I've tried to use to onboard my creator friends and people into this space, right? Like this, you know, this technology that enables, you know, transparency, and at the same time enforces, like, you know, the code and the laws by it which was written, right? Having said that, though, is it really an ethos if people can devise ways to work around it, right? And I, like you said, like, I mean, depends on when you were onboarded and what the narrative was and the attitude towards the spaces is kind of like what you're gonna come up with. I think I can't help but think that if this space is really going to be different to Web 2.0, if it's really going to have its own ethos, then it's got to come from our own volition. It cannot be enforced at the smart contract level. I mean, I'm sure some certain things will be able to be enforced on the smart contract level, but I wonder if, like, it's a matter of tooling, right? Like some of the tools we've touched upon recently, like Bello and certain like snapshot tools that are in development that are able to give you more insight into wallets and how they behave. And I mean, going back to this thing that I was telling you about, it's like, I think when you look at your wallet later down the road, whether you're applying for a job or you want to collect a certain artist, maybe that's going to speak volumes about you as a citizen in this ecosystem, right? And allow you to gain access or recognition in a different way that was not possible before, right? Like, that's why, I mean, some of us collect POAPs, and some of them are great, and some of them you're kind of ashamed of. And it's the same thing with certain trades, right? You have your DGen wallet, and then you have your vault where you stash the stuff that you really believe in, right? And so I can't help but think that will come to bear significantly down the line. It's just some of that tooling has not come to light yet, but I want to believe that there are people that are developing that will empower artists and collectors to hone down on the particular collectors or wallets that they want to, right? And be able to approve or
Reputation
not.
based.
Yeah, exactly. Reputation based. And like, I mean, honestly, like if again, we love talking about the ethos in the Web3 space, but like we were talking about right now with the proof of conference stuff, it's like I'm a very positive individual, and I always feel maybe a little too kumbaya about the space, when in reality there's all types of personalities and sharks swimming in these waters, right? And it's up to you to decide how you conduct yourself in this space. And so I think right now, yeah, there's a lot of different ways to navigate these waters as an anon, and get away with a lot of stuff. I mean, people were gaming the Blur ecosystem, from the get-go, figured out how to do it, right? Majority of them were whales, the ones that received these airdrops. Mercenary Capital is no stranger to the space. But I do feel that down the line, these things will be able to be parsed out, to be able to be identified, tracked, and not be as easily gamed. And I think that if you are in this for the long haul and you are treating this as a marathon and not a sprint, then it behooves you to start thinking about it in terms of reputation. Like, how do you conduct yourself in this space? Like, how do you invest? How do you treat your creators? And I think, yes, the royalty debate is part of it, but there's just so much more. Right.
So what you're hitting on to me is the fact that what's going to have, what all of this is, and what's going on between Blur and OpenSea, it's an innovation battle of technologies, right? Like, we are racing forward, trying to create new models and to compete in this market. And if you think, like, I agree, like, what it's going to require is artists and creators and builders who share the community ethos of artists' royalties being protected to build the technology and the solutions and try and fight and advocate for those new standards. If you think, like, I was using a union as an example, but if you think of a union as just an organizational technology, like, that's all it is. It was an innovation in organization and negotiation. So think of a union as this is a useful tool. This is just a technology like any others. That's what I'm saying, is that artists and collectors and creators are all going to have to come together to develop whatever it is. Maybe it's a DAO instead of a guild. Maybe it's just a technology standard that they can then fight to enforce, and only support marketplaces that use these standards. Whatever they're going to have to do, that's what it's going to have to happen.
You know who I think is doing something along these lines is Art Blocks. They're developing their own marketplace, and they have focused on community marketplaces from the get-go, right?
The problem is like, again, I like the analogy of looking at this at scale, right? Biggie, Art Blocks is one of the biggest projects in the entire space, probably the biggest in Gen Art. This has been mentioned for the Bored Ape ecosystem as well. They could have their own marketplace and enforce all this stuff. How many projects can actually pull that off, and be able to say, hey, we're going to, launch.
But there are also
not many, but there are tools that are being developed to enable other projects to just,
one click launch their marketplace.
Yeah, one click launch,
That's a good idea.
No code personal marketplaces. I know Tajigen is one of them that's been experimenting with it.
They're not open source, I don't think, but I do believe that, like, they are community focused, and I would be interested to see if they develop tools on this front about protecting artist royalties that they can open source and provide, or at least provide like an API and a toolkit. I'm sure that would be a big win for them if they could scale a artist friendly marketplace solution for artists to use their tools.
Great comments again coming through big time. We are going to touch on the Bored Ape Kennel Club IP situation. that is an absolutely ridiculous story that is going to have like potentially larger reaching implications for Yuga. There was a great comment by Mumbot coming through saying, last night Yacht talked about terms of service. You agree to when a creator sets their costs, royalties, so the marketplace cannot suddenly decide for projects to change what was agreed upon. So this seems like a really, I mean, albeit like it involves legally enforcing this stuff, but maybe the threat of lawsuit. Again, that doesn't feel like the most open, but Yacht in his Gigabrain way is saying we want to propose a way to protect against this by saying we're going to set up rules between the collection and the collector that cannot be broken by the marketplace. I think that's I mean, it's one answer.
something's got to happen, because what is happening right now is the marketplace. Like, and I meant to say this earlier, like, you know, we've been giving Blur their flowers because they've innovated quickly and done something amazing in terms of creating a great product and a product market fit. So like their token launch and all this stuff has been cool, and it's innovative, and it's doing something very different from OpenSea. But let's be clear, both OpenSea and Blur are guilty right now of throwing artists under the bus and just fighting for dominance and not giving a shit about the creators at all, right? And so like again, we got more context and insight from Chief Chungo about what he was going with. Like Blur literally misled them and lied to them about protecting their royalties so that they would come on their marketplace and turn on bids, and then they couldn't get any royalties out of it. Like both of these marketplaces right now are just fighting for dominance and market share and do not give a shit about anything else. And so that, like, you can say like, hey, good, it's creating innovation, but also there's going to be a lot of collateral damage. And right now, unfortunately, a lot of that is at the project level. I'm not the biggest Frank DeGods fan, but like if they moved chains and underwent this big fucking thing because of royalties, only to find out that they can't, like that's another example of creators and communities getting dicked around by this war that's happening. So this is where I give some credence to what Yad is saying. It's like you literally might need to get legal intervention if these marketplaces cannot be trusted to uphold what they're telling these creators, because these are businesses. People are investing a lot of themselves into a certain business model. They're marketing it, they're promoting it. This is their reputations on the line. And then if you rug them, and then they have to basically go back and rug their community or tell their community that all that shit that I just told you is all bullshit because we can't protect our own business model now. Like this is damaging shit. This is not like a small thing.
Marty is saying you want revenue sell black hoodies. That might be some good innovation there, although that seems pretty saturated. To the comment you just talked about with Blur and OpenSea, I don't think Blur came out and has been touting this narrative of like protecting creators. That's the biggest thing with me is like, one, Blur launching and doing it the way they did has forced OpenSea to this point where we're at.
A specific anecdotal, like one-to-one, where they are reaching out and talking to founders and literally lying to founders on an individual level to get them on their platform.
I don't have that.
It's just shady business.
Yeah, I just don't have the. I need to hear more about this.
It's an anecdote of one example, but I'm sure they're not the only one, right? So it's just like the point is they're both operating in a very non-transparent, shady way as they battle each other just to get market dominance, and they don't give a fuck about the creators and the artists. That's what's clear. Neither marketplace gives a shit about the artists and the creators.
Well, I think OpenSea has parroted the narrative more so than Blur's. The point that I'm trying to make. That's why I don't really fuck with OpenSea, is because they're out here just every day being like GM to the creators of the world, all this stuff, and they've been doing that since the beginning. And they've been fucking around since the beginning. Where Blur's been like, we're Blur. You know, like I'm not trying to like throw a bunch of flowers. I do again want to be able to pay these royalties to the creators I support. So I had one last comment because we did see one come through. Heyoka said, I don't bite the poor creators and founders without a royalties thing. Most made a shit ton of money, and under-delivered Web3 is about empowering holders. We will always find a new way to trade and avoid fees. The comment that I want to make here is about Chungo's this morning. Chungo's was a free mint. And what I'm trying to kind of relay to you guys is throughout the entire history of this Web3 blockchain, crypto, whatever you want to call it, a lot of really, really cool projects and some of the most innovative have come from free mint. Free mint, hold on. Or fair distribution is what they called it in DeFi when they just like launched to people that were like using. So basically, you didn't have to pay. Wi-Fi did this. I'm using Chungo's as an example because it's recent, but there have been many projects that have done free mints and been super innovative. Those projects almost will completely evaporate if there's no royalty fees. And I say completely evaporate. Of course, there will be more that launch, but the effectiveness of a free mint and the innovation that comes with it will be lost if you don't have a fee associated, because they're not making money up front and then they're not making any money on the back end.
Oh.
So it's
and most collections, when you factor out taxes and running a business and employing employees to try and scale and everything else that you need to do to actually develop a real business, people don't understand like how little a lot of these companies are actually making, even if they have a primary sale. So like my comment to Heyoka would be like, you know, if you've been buying in on big promises and roadmaps that have underdelivered, first of all, I feel you. I got bags full of NFTs that are never going to deliver on the shit that I thought I was going to get. So I get that. I totally feel that. But also, have you ever tried launching your own project? Have you ever tried building a startup this way? Because I get the sense from reading your comment that you don't actually know what it's like to try and be one of these founders. It's incredibly difficult. It's very hard. And just thinking that they all have a bunch of money is just not true. It's really not at all. And especially like let's say that you're actually putting anywhere between 3 to 6 to 8 to a whole year of your life into developing this project. You got to pay for your life too. You like where's your cut of all of that too? Like, are you just supposed to do all of that for free and then keep investing everything? Or are you going to actually get to reward yourself for part of that and pay yourself out? Do you have a team that you've been building with? How are they getting rewarded? What percentage is going to your devs? Like
what you'll see is more collections moving to holding a percentage of the supply. That's the only answer. If there's no creator royalties fee, and there's no primary mint, then you have to hold 10% of the supply. Like that. So if you increase in volume and increase the price, you could eventually sell. I don't see another way.
Maybe. Yeah. But also that hurts your own economics. Like you could try and factor that in, but like then the people say like, oh, it didn't mint out, or like, how are you minting that? Like, how does that look? Do people look at that sideways if you announce that or you don't announce that? Yeah. So I don't know if that's a great solution, but I bet you're right, Cuse. It's like, you would need to probably hold more or find a way. But I honestly, I don't think that really helps you that much, because there's got to be a lot of value generated before those are even worth anything. And you might need liquidity before then to help build, right? Mm. So it's not the best solution.
We're going to jump out of this combo about Blur and OpenSea. I feel like we hit on a lot of great points. Heyoka is also saying BTC NFTs narrative is pumping. Check Stacks price. So we covered Stacks, 2-3 weeks ago?
Stacks also.
We've been hitting, boys.
That's what I'm saying. Stacks, Ghost, Polygon. These are 3 things that we've been featuring that have all been pumping.
Yeah. Let's see. I want to make sure I got this closed out here. Sarah Script was asking, did we see if proof of confidence got canceled? Biggie, you have any last? I want to put this into our quick news segment as well, because we're kind of
trolling you, Biggie. Sarah's trolling you. Biggie.
We got a Lunar Society thing that I want to tie that in. So just be ready for that. We'll talk a little bit more proof of conference. But any last thoughts or last comments you guys saw from Blur and OpenSea? And I will ask this one question to you and in chat: will OpenSea launch your token in 23?
This is I have to say this. Well, I have to say it's very interesting to hear you coming around on this, Q, because you were very adamant that there's no way, and with good reason, right? Because they are, I believe, like publicly, like I think it's like a public company, right? Or like
no, they want to go public.
They want to go public. Okay, so that's what it is.
So it's no token if you want to go public. It's so they're like just not happening. Period. End of story. Like nothing to discuss.
So there's good reason for why there was so much skepticism when I brought up a token, but you can see right now the way that this has gone, that it's literally existential for OpenSea, that they might continue to lose, like the rate that they've been losing market share over the last couple months and now just in the last week or two is scary to them. And so if you understand that existentially for them to compete now, they might have to, that's where you start to go like, oh, okay.
That's where I flip-flopped, because it didn't feel like until literally the last 7 days. They were
what just else do they do?
Crabbing out. Yeah, exactly. Well, fucking care about the people that use your platform. Yeah. You know, I will say, with this stuff with Jessica, the collection she's doing, like that kind of stuff actually fosters me to want to actually care about OpenSea.
That's actually good job. That's a great point, because again, one of the things, and I believe OpenSea is supposed to come on tomorrow, maybe. I don't know. I need to hit up us and confirm. OpenSea is supposed to come on our show this week to talk about the show and to talk about their new C Drops protocol. So this new launchpad that OpenSea has is called sea drops. And from what Biggie, I was speculating this. You were like, you're just fucking looking for something. I think I was right. From what I understand, by partnering with OpenSea and launching on the sea drops,
I would take out my hat, but my hair's a mess.
You are trapped into their ecosystem with these projects. And so to Q's point, this is actually one of the smartest things that they've done, because they are trapping all of this market share for all of these collections cannot go to Blur, I believe, or it might be harder.
I'll collect the creators that I want to create. Like, I might have been doing this anyways, and I will collect Jessica's collection. That is totally against how I feel about Web3. That is the antithesis. That is a walled garden.
Mm-hmm. That's how.
What's the fucking difference of buying on fucking Amazon? Hey, collectors, just start dropping on Amazon. Amazon Launchpad. What? Bro. I did not know that.
Sure.
That's crazy that you called that, though.
Why? You have to understand why they're focusing so much effort on it, right? It's like their entire homepage is this, and maybe again they're thinking existentially. We need to launch as many of these projects as we can into our ecosystem so that we have a survival mechanism, a hedge against Blur taking all of our trading volume. Because think of it this way too. This is you know what this is like actually. Here's an interesting metaphor for you. You used Amazon. Amazon does have Amazon Prime, but think about what Amazon Prime is copying the Netflix model. Netflix has been producing their own original content so that you cannot go anywhere else, and they're trying to trap you into their ecosystem. OpenSea is trying to create hits. They're trying to create their own popular content on their platform that you can't get anywhere else. These are OpenSea exclusives. That's what it is. And if you want to be watching or participating or joining in the show on any of these projects, you've got to go to the OpenSea network.
I'm about to get heated.
Platform.
The idea
it's very Web 2, to your point.
No, man, it just makes me love Manifold even more.
This space.
See how you feel about this, Q, is how I feel about artist royalties. That's what I love about the way that you just said that, because I'm like, yeah, I feel you, bro. You feel betrayed, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't. I mean, I don't feel betrayed, because that would be like me trusting OpenSea and be like, you got me, friend. I've always had them at an arm's length distance. I've used their platform because it was the most volume, had the most liquidity, but I've never been like, I trust you, guy. Wow. All right, so I need to get an answer. I need to get an answer. It is open, and Biggie, I need your answer as well. Biggie,
no fucking token, not happening whatsoever. And I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah,
but no, it's not. It's not going that route. I mean, I don't know. I can't see them going to their shareholders and saying that, and especially in this regulatory climate right now, seeing what's going down with stable coins, what's probably in the works for ApeCoin, like what? No. But hey,
sure?
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I am wrong.
Okay, we're going to close that
But
poll
I sure
down.
as
We see
hell
it in
tell you
chat
this,
as well.
I ain't rallying around no fucking community OpenSea token bullshit.
Except for...
Well, again, this is a response. This is what OpenSea does. They respond. They don't innovate. They respond to something that is happening to them. So this isn't like I'm coming to you with a token and this is what we're doing and we're innovating. It's holy fuck, our market share is being eaten alive. So we're launching a token. It's a response. It's not an active approach. And it's why they're fucking gonna, I mean, they're not gonna die, but anyways. Okay, Gift, did you have anything
They're not going
out?
anywhere. Let's be clear. OpenSea's not going anywhere.
Okay, but tell us, Gift, token or not token? What does your
say it?
So the variable is that, like, I don't know their plans to go public or where that's at, right?
No, dude, please no, dog.
Yeah, watch OpenSea and Blur merge. They both have Paradigm backing them. Look, they could do some crazy shit like that. I think. Look, if I was driving the boat without any sort,
I thought you said if you were gonna drive Miss Daisy.
Yeah, without any context around like what their going public or IPO plan is, like if you were just to remove all of that, I would say yes, 1,000%. look at what it's fucking done. And like, I would be looking at how Blur did their airdrop and be like timesing that times 100. It's like, okay, cool. You created an innovative thing that worked really well. How can we take that model and fucking beat you at that model? That's what I'd be doing. But again, I don't know their plans for going public or how important that already is. So that's where I can't say exactly, but
okay. So
they should.
just give me a yes.
They should.
They fucking should.
Results.
They
I
fucking
want the
should.
Results option.
They should reward people that have been using OpenSea for the last several years. That's what they should do.
Make it rain.
Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah,
Web3 values.
make that rain.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. We have about 15 minutes left in the episode, so we're gonna get to some other quick news here. Please leave a like if you're enjoying the conversation. If you want to take part, jump in the chat. If you don't, that's fine. Just hang out. If you're listening to us afterwards, we appreciate you as well. And please leave a like on today's episode so we can get our wonderful voices out into the netherverse. All right. Proof of conference. We touched. What's up, Biggie? You got anything?
No.
Okay. Proof of conference was canceled.
I doubt they're going to do it. I doubt they're going to do it.
Okay, finally. There we go. That's not even really an answer.
I doubt it. They should.
Okay, proof of conference was canceled. Gift keeps bringing me off the rails here, but proof of conference was canceled right before we press live. Biggie hit us with the response. Biggie, I want to, if you have any last thoughts, I know some people missed us talking about it, but also tying in Lunar Society. Do you know anything about Lunar Society?
Yeah, Lunar Society. Yeah, it's basically the Moonbirds DAO that's been touted and been talked about for quite some time now. It's going to be released, and man, I hope it's a win because we need one. But yeah, I'm bullish about it. I mean, I can't speak much more to it than what's being talked about there, right? There are proposals already being written up. I hope they don't get distracted by all the massive FUD we're receiving at the moment. But yeah, I mean, no token, by the way, on Moonbird DAO. It's just votes per Moonbird, and that's it.
Votes
benefits to
that's
the
a token.
Yeah, you get like, I think so. OG Moonbirds will get 3 votes, and then Mythics will get 1. So. And obviously the purpose is to deliver value back to the brand and to Moonbirds users and stuff. So there's a couple of proposals that I've been tracking closely that I think will get passed through. That should deliver some really cool stuff down the line. So I'm bullish about it in spite of everything going down.
Okay. There are some comments there in chat. Marty, I did want to have this convo, but it's probably too late in the episode. Maybe we touch on it tomorrow because Marty got involved in Blur really early. Here's another benefit to being on this network and watching these shows is that it's not just us talking to you. Like there's some smart ass community members. And I say that with pun intended.
Let's talk in the back channels about a strategy for gaming this season 2, Marty. And I want your help.
This man took full advantage, I believe, with friendship bracelets on art blocks and was able to, I think, get a substantial amount of Blur, which he sold apparently at the bottom. And he was complaining about it.
Everyone knows you wait a little bit.
Okay, well, a bit. Biggie did not go the route I was trying to make. We should kick him while he's down. But the conversation that we'll probably have tomorrow, I want to get y'all's. I want to bring up past PTSD. I don't think we can get into this rabbit hole right now. But I just wanted to make Marty feel better, not kick him while he's down. Like we all have that. That's the combo. It's like we all have 1, 2, 3, 4 moves where you're just like, I probably sold that too early, or I didn't sell it at the top.
Very recently on my tier 4 sewer pass, I have some pretty serious PTSD right there.
See? Exactly. So we'll be talking about that all tomorrow on NFT Live.
Sounds good.
So prepare your senses. All right, guys, drop any links you want me to cover as well. I've got a couple quick news pieces that I want to talk on. What's up? You have anything?
I'll just find the link. I'll drop it.
Okay. LinksDAO is a project that I've mentioned on the channel a couple times. I am not currently a holder, but I was like following this project for a while because Mike Dudas, the former founder of The Block. Hopefully I got that out of my mouth, which was a crypto media and kind of research product there and platform. He co-founded this project as well. You could hold an NFT and essentially get access to a worldwide golf community. Plus, they at some point in their timeline were going to buy a golf course. They were going to buy a country club and golf course and have it be Web3 related so that your NFT gets you access for free. You get all these different things. Well, essentially, that's where we're at today because they just put out their proposal to buy a Scottish golf course.
Oh.
And it is very much in favor at 91% for and against. For and 8.29% are against. Let me see if I could pull this up. They've got a picture of it. The golf course is going to be, let me make sure I got the River Spey, opened in 1907, was designed by a Leith-born golfer, distinguished golf course. It's in Scotland. They're buying a Scottish golf course. That's the story, everybody. Or did it not even show that?
Oh,
so people have to go to Scotland to play golf at their.
There's the argument against. A lot of U.S. holders are like, "Hey, I don't want to go to Scotland." But honestly, have you been to Scotland? It's a beautiful country.
Beach, could you?
Sounds lit. I want to go to Scotland. It reminds me though of that the really hacky influencer scam where it's like you become a lord or a lady if you you get a plot like a square foot of land or something.
Yeah.
But it's like somebody did a deep dive and basically exposed that it's all bullshit and it's not real at all. And so people are literally buying these things, these bullshit claims and calling themselves a lord or a lady, and they're fucking not. It's all fucking trash, dude. But anyway, this is actually interesting.
It's like
this is actually. Yeah, this is more interesting to me. If there's an actual golf course that you can go participate on, that's more interesting than that bullshit title.
Asmodai with some alfalfa. No way that's near me. Let us know. What's going on with this golf course? Anyways, here's LinksDAO says they're creating the modern golf and leisure club. Global community of thousands of enthusiasts has come together to create one of the world's greatest golf clubs and reimagine the country club. So they're sitting at about 0.35 floor. This is very much in the Wagner United play.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
They both launched around. They both launched around the same time. Biggie, if you want to FUD Wagme, here's your time. Just
no, I don't want to FUD Wagme. I want my fucking jersey. That's what I want. I want my goddamn jersey at least,
Facts.
Squiggle jersey. Where is that?
Win squiggle jersey. I'm sure they'll use this OpenSea announcement as a way to be like, we have to push it back. It's a physical product, but we are affected.
They did make an announcement. I guess their manufacturers are in Turkey, and due to the fact that there were the earthquakes in Turkey and all this stuff, I guess they're going to be delayed. Which you
can't write this shit. God damn it! All right.
Yeah.
Last quick news piece from me, other than the Bored Ape Kennel Club that we can touch on. It looks like season 1 of Illuvium 0 is delayed. So we got some game delays here from probably my biggest bet in the Web3 gaming space. They said, we have important news to share. This comes from Kieran all the way at the top. Due to our commitment to deliver the best possible gaming experience for our community, we have decided to postpone the launch of season 1. So
they're getting sandboxed, bro. You're getting sandboxed.
Boom, 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 boom.
You put sandbox and Illuvium in the same sentence. I'm gonna cry. They are doing it though. But I'm a big bettor on Illuvium. I'm sure the token isn't doing too well off that announcement, but I'm definitely my bags are packed. That's all I'll say. Not financial advice. Anyways. All right. What do we got, Gif? You dropped a couple links.
Yeah, let's start at the top. Let's start with the first one and work our way down. And we'll just hit these briefly. These are things that caught my eye as far as quick news. Apparently, new Bitcoin wallets are making ordinals easier. So making inscribing and trading a breeze, it says. So exciting news for Bitcoin enthusiasts. Ordinals inscriptions on the rise. Xverse, another Bitcoin wallet, also recently began its own ordinal service. But either way, here we go. So Fortunately, Web3 developers are now filling the demand for more user-friendly interfaces for ordinals users. Excitingly, there are new solutions coming into play. So if you've been looking to get in, which I've been obviously learning, I have not pulled the trigger. I'm going to be looking into this. I have been wanting more infrastructure and ease of use, so I'm not doing some shady OTC transactions or not being able to custody the sats that the metadata is inscribed on or whatever. So who knows? Maybe this will add more fuel to that fire and make it easier for people to participate.
This is my Marty story for tomorrow. Not buying stats when we had them on. Jesus Christ.
Dude, that's what I'm telling y'all. We've been fucking calling all this shit. We've been calling all this shit, bro.
Easy, we see you. He said, I got my first ordinal, won a bit brew. So, nice. And also asking for his WAGME United jersey. So, yeah. Okay. Next story. What do we got? Oh, Rarible.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're still around, but I thought it's cool.
Well, you were saying if it's bad for them, it's good for Rarible.
Well, look, here's the really fucking brilliant thing here is that they're adding support for Tezos. I think this is actually a masterstroke for them because I don't believe OpenSea still supports Tezos. I don't think Blur does either. Tezos is an amazing community that doesn't have a lot of support as far as I know. So good for fucking Rarible. Not only are they adding Polygon, they're also adding Tezos. I love that. So you know what? Give some props. Give some love where it's due. Shout out Rarible. You don't get enough love these days. They're still around.
Jack's Hideaway, we see your comments on the LinksDAO piece as well. Those were good. Ripple
By the way,
creator. Oh God,
well,
I'm not. We're not.
Well, real quick, hold up, real quick before we move to this. You know what we don't talk about a lot in this whole royalties / marketplace / token debate with the Blur token is the fact that Rarible had Rari token first.
Oh
yeah.
They've been having a token.
Up. Yeah, but they fucked up.
Yeah.
They fucked that all up. They're very like looks rare-esque with the way they handled their tokenomics.
Okay, that's fair.
I think it essentially influenced or like emphasized wash trading. Basically, the way that their token was set up.
Seems like that's what a lot of these marketplaces have done. All right, let's hit this last one. Ripple going phygital. Hey, did you notice something, Q? Did you notice something on that headline though? Did you notice that it doesn't say digiphysical?
Easy, it's digiphysical for life.
No, this puts the nail in the coffin. The Ripple Creator Fund uses phygital. That's all you need to know. Case settled. It's phygital. So I don't know. This just caught my eye. Apparently, phygital NFTs going big. So let's see.
Yeah, baby.
Real quick. Why did Ripple's Creator Fund invest in phygital NFTs? Good question. Earlier in January, the chief technical officer at Ripple, David Schwartz, said that the new wave of Web3 assets would focus on utility NFTs, and he was right. In fact, Ripple's entire executive team predicted that this year we'll see more phygital NFT projects than ever.
Aren't they getting sued? Don't you still have to deal with the SEC, Ripple?
I don't know. Apparently, they're able to put a quarter bill behind phygital NFTs, so I guess they're still doing something.
Okay.
Easy, I love you, but no, it's phygital. We just settled it. Ripple says so.
Sounds like a word from a molester's playbook.
We're done.
I could not agree more.
We're done with this conversation. I'm putting my foot down.
Hey, Yoka, you've been coming through with some really great comments. And this one is great. Love Rarible's vibe, but they are just boring. They do need better marketing. I would that is the number one thing I think they need from their like founding team, everything, man. They're just kind of boring.
Easy says that digiphysical sounds like a word from a molester's playbook, and I agree. Digiphysical does sound like something a molester would say.
The debate rages on. This is as big as Blur and OpenSea. Digiphysical and physical. Okay, last story. Biggie, drop anything if you want me to cover it too, man. You've been fucking bringing some takes, and I fucking love it. So if you got anything happening, if you're minting anything, let me know.
No,
I know you're
man.
Dealing with this shit live. You're dealing with the cancellation live.
Dealing with that shit live, and then like I'm trying to plan for my trip, man, which has been taking up a lot of my bandwidth. So I haven't I've just been hard to keep up with everything. But hey, I mean, yeah, other than the AIR Braindrops platform popping off, which I definitely think our viewers should keep an eye on. Yeah, I'm
Let me
not
make sure I get that.
brain. So you guys have heard of raindrops, right? They're basically on, right now they're on their way to becoming the art blocks of AI art. And so it was founded by two or three, was it, of the like most well-known generative artists. Look at that thing. It's almost like a gotchi cube, the green gotchi floating in the ether.
What
How insane is that, huh?
you're saying? This is you like this?
Yeah. But you need to. I get it. It's so weird, but again, you would need to go. Like I would tell you to go check out
Is
the, what do you call it?
Okay.
Pindar's like video small documentary they did right now for like Grails 2 to
Okay.
see what his process is like. It
I got you.
is fucking insane. It is far, far out there. Like robots did that. Robot and programming did that. He's had robots do like auto portraits and all stuff. It's just so far out there. It's insane. Like I mean, obviously that's why you appreciate it, right?
Exactly.
But it's so trippy, and like this is like the third version. So these are ByteGANs, he's got BitGANs, and the other ones, the Genesis PodGANs. And you can see all of them. They are, yeah, out of this world. It's the way to describe them. Yeah, you can check out.
I feel like my bias towards pixelated art is like it's tired. Like people like aren't really trying that hard. So like, yeah, definitely like watching those videos will give me a new take on that. I appreciate that, Biggie.
Definitely. And a lot of the spotlight that's come to this platform right now is because of the Life in West America mint that happened. What is it, like 2 weeks ago? It minted at 0.1. I think the floor right now is 80. It went up as high as like I think 12. So it's definitely a place to keep your eye on, because down the line, I think there's just more stuff coming down the line that's going to be really mind blowing. I mean, this is just the beginning of AI art, and also because it stirs a lot of debate even within traditional artists and generative artists, and I don't know. To me, it's just like that's a place I want to keep my eye on.
All right, I'm gonna pull up the flowers really quick because we just got flowers from Heyoka. First time here, good show. Love the unbiased, honest vibes. Keep it up. We love that for you, Heyoka. You're awesome. Honest vibes don't really get and just like unbiased takes aren't really favorable in this industry.
Oh no,
we got to be super biased, bag heavy, pumping out the latest bullshit, and then you'll get popular. So just letting you know, that's the way this shit works.
I know I'm actively taking courses on trolling to try and get better.
just following Thread Guy and all those nice influencers. Yeah, got it. All right, speaking
of it's trolling and Chungonomics 101. That's my course load for this semester.
I did my best to not bring Chungos up on today's episode. No, I'm just joking. I need to buy Chungos for sure. All right, speaking of unbiased opinion, Gift, do you want to do it with me? Do you want to do the It's the Yuga show.
Oh wait, we fucked it up. All right, we'll work on that. We're working on it. We're workshopping it.
Okay, Yuga Labs to replace logo that apes a kid's drawing guide. It looks like they basically got caught, and this is directly from Crypto Garga. Ooh. Apparently, the freelancer that they used to create the Kennel Club logo was directly from the Easy Drawing Guides company website. It says learn how to draw a wolf skull, easy step-by-step drawing tutorial for kids and beginners. And what does that look like? It looks exactly like the Yuga Labs Bored Ape Kennel Club logo.
What's funny about this real quick, besides the fact that it's just funny on its face, is how much like writer rips and everybody's been tearing them to shreds about this nefarious fucking like
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like they're putting all this like deep like obscure cult shit into their designs. It's like, dude, half this shit was probably just taken from fucking like
that is a really good take. Did writer rips call them out at all for the Kennel Club logo? Because that is a really good take. It's like, look at how idiotic they actually were about this. They put no thought.
Man.
Yeah. I want to get both of your takes. We're coming up to the end of the episode, but here's my like big takeaway from this. Kennel Club has netted a fuck ton of money. Obviously, like most of the stuff that you go, what does that do with the copyright issue that they're facing here? They can't just change the logo and say, "Hey, we're out of here." That easy drawing guide company probably has a stake to some money here, right? Like
maybe
that. Again, I'm not a lawyer, like a copyright lawyer or anything, but I'm assuming that they're going to get paid out here. Like that's, I just would guess so. So, anyways,
and then also whoever artist they probably contracted is going to get sued, right? Because from what I understand, like when you're building these projects and you're buying art and commissioning art, I should say, for that is supposed to be original, you have to you have to sign a release form, right? Because you're going to be using that art for your business. And so I'm assuming they got that in writing. And so whoever ripped that off and, you know, sold it as their own, if they signed paper, we're going to some people knocking out your door.
Yeah. Love the law talk on today's episode. Just loving all of the regulation.
I'm not a lawyer here, folks. We're Squashman when you need them.
Right, exactly.
Shout out Squashman.
Right. Gif, any takes on the Kennel Club logo fiasco that Yuga finds themselves in?
I think it's just going to be fascinating to watch. I do think I think it's really interesting to get that insight into their process, and that there may be some kind of implications on the Ryder Rips case with this. That to me is kind of interesting, and it's a little bit funny. But yeah, like they may have to pay some money to somebody for this. And obviously not great for them as a business. But again, you know, you move fast, you break shit. This space is full of ridiculous shit, and just another day. To me, it feels like par for course for how this whole space is operating.
If there are any Chungos listening to this, you guys have an opportune meme situation here. You guys could totally put a Chungo in the middle of that BAKC. That could be the new logo for
Board Ape Chungo Club or Board Chungo Kennel Club. Board Chungo Kennel Club.
Chungos.
Chungo dogs coming soon.
Chungo dogs. Wow.
Chungo dogs.
We got to get on this IP. We got to talk to our lawyer. Speaking of that, we'll be in contact, lawyer. All right, Jacob. This is a good episode, I'm assuming. Guys, appreciate the guys and gals that did tune in all the way through. Again, we're here every day, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard. Eat Denver. We're coming live from Eat Denver. That's what's happening.
Yo, we got to throw up the Chungo Mansion Party link one more time. Y'all, if you can help us get the word out, share this out, tag some friends that you think are going to Denver or want to go, whatever you can do to help get the word out about the Chungo Mansion Party at the Marijuana Mansion on March 1st. This shit is going to be absolutely legendary. Q will drop this in the chat here in just a moment, but check this out. This is happening. This is big time. Just announced today. So give it some love. Help us put some gas on this fire, because we are trying to make this one of the most memorable events of East Denver.
Love it. All right. I see the Kennel Club takes are coming through. Damn, can't trust the logo hire. Now with AI, we're in real trouble. Jack's always saying such low effort. Yeah, mutant Chungos, Justin Casey. And I'm sure Marty's got a lot of takes. So we got to get out of here before those comments start flooding the chat.
It's fascinating. This is going to be a big thing, because like how does AI art generation factor into the whole question of IP and originality? And then when you're hiring that out and you're like layers removed, like you hire a subcontractor or an agency that then hires a subcontractor and they use a certain license. How does that license apply to the end product of a brand? Like,
all the way around.
Good times ahead.
It's interesting out here on the Wild West, on the frontier. I'm appreciating seeing you guys on a Monday. Biggie, any last takes here before I send us out?
Dude, just
good luck,
fucking
by the way.
Enough, man. Enough. Like If this is all we have to touch upon the space for the day, I consider myself well served. Please, no more shit. But if not, we'll see you tomorrow, and I'll tell you all
So he's
about
at his
it,
breaking
dude.
point, dude.
I'm like, dude, come on, man. I know, honestly, if anything, like, I'm a little bit glad that I'm gonna unplug for a little while. It'll be wicked. I mean, obviously, I'm still gonna be tuning in here with you guys every now and then and shooting the shit and seeing what's going on. But it'll be interesting to see what happens between now and June. Be fucking crazy. We'll see.
We will see. Well, I think we're just gonna have to survive. That's the only rule.
Oh, that is the rule, the golden rule: survive at all costs.
Don R saying peace, fam. Our vibe, our tribe. GIF, you got any last takes, and I'll send us out.
Chungo. That's all I got. Our vibe, our tribe.
Peace.
I appreciate y'all.